Hi, I'm Jen. I'm the AFL Property Manager here at Collingwood, and this is our property room. We have all our laundry facilities, so our washing machines, our dryers, and we call this our folding bench. So this has been a lifesaver in the new redevelopment, which has been great. So we've got all our treatment towels from today's session. That normally runs across the morning into the afternoon, so all the boys get treatment throughout the day after training. A bit easier to colour coordinate different areas, so we do have different coloured towels for each area. So black is the treatment area or the medical side of things, which is good. With using towels so many and so throughout the day, we do try and keep to using some good products in the washing machines. It just helps us to prolong the life of the towels, so that's where Omos come in really handy. When we're washing, especially washing treatment towels get used every day, it's making our lives a bit easier at the other end. They just come out as a really, really good quality still, and they actually do have a really nice smell to them. So obviously the boys can sometimes be quite smelly, so it really gets that odour out of it, which is great for us. And then we've got our storage of footballs, and when we do some of our washing liquids all stored, which is good. Our buggy we use for trainings. It holds all our equipment, our cones, bibs, balls. It's pretty much used for when we are out on the track and staff or coaches need stuff. We kind of try and take it out in one hit instead of coming back and forth. We've got our training Guernseys that sit just to the side of it. In here we normally house our footballs for all programs, so they do get stored away so we don't have any go missing. We can have up to probably 35 footies in each bin at a time, so we try and rotate them through at least every month or so they stay fresh, especially for the players. They like better pills, as they like to call it. This is the Guernseys from last week, so we've just washed them, hung them up to be put away once we have them all cleaned. And unfortunately for Bruzzies, it's just hanging here in shreds. So Bruzzy on the weekend got into a little scuffle, so obviously his is now torn. What we will do with this, we will then move it on to our archives team, who will keep it as a bit of a memento from that game. So we try and give them a couple of pieces throughout the year. We have pretty much our AFL uniform area, so all the training gear, singlets, shorts, t-shirts, anything the boys need for training and coaches and staff is all stored in here. And then we move on to where our match day jumpers are stored, warm-up tops, pretty much everything match day requirement on field is in here. So with our home Guernseys, we do have, each player has 4. With that, we just obviously try and use 3 throughout the season. And then what we'll do is if we do need the 4th, we will use it as we see fit. If things do break or rip or blood on them and that hasn't come out, we will rotate through that 4th one. So not everyone gets a long sleeve. It's pretty much picked by the player when we do our ordering for the next season. I think this is probably the most we've had in the last couple of years of long sleeve, so people must be getting either older and colder or a little bit wiser. So Scott's long sleeve, I don't know if he'll wear it, but he's got one. I actually don't know if I've told him it's actually arrived, so it'll be interesting to see if he wears one. I don't think I've ever seen him in a long sleeve. Tay Adams has one. I think he may wear it, but he may take it off by quarter time anyway. So yeah, your likes of Jamie has one, John Noble has one, Bobby Hill, which you'll see quite often, he's wearing his now constantly. Guinea obviously has one, and Darcy Moore has one. Then we've got their warm-up tops, which are their match day ones. So they're all numbered with their names on. So they have 2 sets, one for their, what we call as our SOS training, so a captain's run, and then one for the actual game day. So we try and have them in some form of uniform for most of their sessions, which is good. And then we do have the VFL and VFL men's home and aways as well that are stored in here. So we take obviously the 3 sets. So one becomes obviously their starting jumper, one becomes their blood jumper, which sits on the bench, so if anything does happen throughout the game we can give them a new one. And then we have a halftime one that they can swap into at halftime. We've got a couple of boys that like to change at the quarters depending on the weather conditions, so we do have a couple of extra for those. So these are what will be the AFL Matchday balls for this week. Each home team is issued with 6 game balls for that round. We are required to kick them in normally at a captain's run. So if we get all 6 back, great. Sometimes the opposition requests some footies if they have any milestone players. We like to, as a thing at the club, is give out a best player award, which is deemed by the coaches. So what will happen is the ball will get signed by all the players that played in that round and then presented to at our review meeting in the morning on a Monday or Tuesday. Throughout the year we tend to order about around 210 footies a year. At the moment I reckon we're sitting on about 140. Best part is probably the game days. Game day is the fun day we find, so we're responsible for making sure that the rooms are set up, the players have their match gear, the coaches have their stuff for warm up. We make sure all the coaches' boards are there, all the operational requirements are there. My role on match day when I'm not in the room setting up pre-game is I sit on the bench during the match. My responsibility is to make sure that they stay hydrated and that they're looked after on the bench, whether or not it's coming off, grabbing a towel, whether or not it's making sure that they've got enough Grupo, little things like that. And if anything does happen and they need to swap their jumpers, I'm responsible for making sure I give them their new jumpers, making sure the GPSs are taken out, put back in, and it's pretty seamless that they aren't interfered with too much. So I've worked through with the VFL men's and then progressed my way into the AFL men's program, which has been unreal. So I've really seen it from the infancy of AFLW working into an elite team now like the AFL men's, which has been unreal really. It's a great experience, and no day is ever the same really, and no match day is ever the same, so it's really good to see how things progress, and obviously the way we're going at the moment is great, and I'm loving my time here, so hopefully it can continue for many more seasons to come.